Ooh, there's a Mangonel in there. Gotta be careful. Oh, these skirmishers are getting sandwiched. That's a big Mangonel hit. Another big hit. Oh my gosh. And here we are. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first game in this Games of the Week. I've been away from the series for a bit because we've been doing Doubles Age, and then the last month I've been traveling. Went to San Francisco recently to visit some friends. Wanted to do that before I go off to school. And yeah, so I haven't been casting for the last month. I'm back. Probably going to be focusing more on Games of the Week. There's no more Voobly official sponsored tournaments anymore. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to getting back to casting 1v1s that haven't been casted by anyone else, and some really excellent games. We do cast a lot of games with the tournaments. A lot of them are very excellent, and of course they have the hype of a tournament, being for cash prize, of course with aspiring experts. A lot of players that really need more recognition because it takes a long time to get up to 2K3, 2K4 rating. And not always do you have the chance to compete for a cash prize or recognition, so I think that was a very important thing. But I'd like to get a little bit more towards 1v1s now, and just casting some excellent games. And who better to cast than the two players that are at the top of the 1v1 ladder. Yes, I didn't misspoke. It's actually Dogao and MBL. MBL, that should be no surprise to anyone. Dogao's been at the top of the 1v1 ladder for quite some time. He's always performed well in tournaments. Always been very well respected and a very great player. But Dogao is fairly new to the top of the 1v1 ladder, at least in recent times. He's always been a strong player, but did take a bit of a hiatus, where he wasn't at like quite the top of the 1v1 ladder, but now he's in top form, and he performed really well in the Hidden Cup, where he defeated, I think he defeated Valise like 3-0, and then almost defeated Leary. I think doing like either like a 3-4 or a 2-3, or I think 2-3 against Leary in Hidden Cup. And he could have won that last game also. So he's super strong right now. And it's good to see such a top level player come back and really do as well as he's done. We have a Huns and Ethiopians war. Dogao playing as the Huns, and MBL playing as the Ethiopians. The Huns are typically one of the most well-respected civilizations on Arabia, because we used to watch a ton of Huns wars back in Age of Conqueror's days. They're still very good, and I expect to see either a Scout Rush or a Dark Age Rush Men-at-Arms kind of rush from the Huns, but with this forward gold, all these forward golds, I certainly expect to see a Scout Rush. It's a more aggressive build. Dogao might have the extra hit on that Scout, so MBL is going to come back. Actually trying to find as many resources as he can and then come back to his base to hopefully save a Scout. So I expect to see a Scout Rush from the Huns player. From the Ethiopians, very much expected to see a Men-at-Arms rush. This gold is horrible for MBL, and that's what you don't want as an Archer-reliant civilization. You're absolutely going to need a lot of gold for Archers. Luckily, the Ethiopians do get 100 extra food and gold when they advance to the next age, so that'll help out their Men-at-Arms rush quite a bit, and maybe delay them a little bit towards getting towards that gold. Will be oh so important. But these maps are pretty horrendous. All the golds are forward, stones are forward. This should be a very, I would say, map control heavy kind of game. Very aggressive kind of game. And that's what I look forward to seeing. Where did I get this game, by the way? Nimino posts every week on AoE's, not every week, every month on AoE's own Games of the Month. This was one of the games that wasn't casted, and I don't believe anyone's casted it. And since it's a rec, I do like to go up to like 55 speed. Let's take a look at scouting. MBL, with that weakened scout, has actually not seen the main gold, but he might be able to infer that it's in this area. Not the best scouting from MBL, but I think he can see the critical resources. These two secondary golds being forward is very telling of the position that that Dogao is in. And importantly, Dogao has seen the barracks of MBL. MBL even getting a few extra hits on that scout, so now they should be on even HP. 28 HP, 33 HP for MBL, so actually a little bit more. Not surprising at all, MBL's going for a Dark Age Rush. Although men-at-arms is a little more common these days. Glad you're hyped, BLO. Here comes that men-at-arms rush. Might run into a wolf depending on how the difficulty level is on this game. The line of sight of the wolf is dependent on the difficulty. It's the only thing that matters, I think, with respect to the difficulty of the game settings. And look at these walls from Dugout. Sure, they're doing a great job walling out the men-at-arms or the militias, but they don't do anything for securing the gold, and that's what the scouts are for. But on the other hand, if MBL is able to keep these militias alive, upgrade to men-at-arms, add a spearman, then Dugout might have some real trouble reclaiming his gold. MBL is going into the next stage quite late. I can't imagine this is a fast castle. He's got a lot of food and a lot of farms. Maybe it is a fast castle. This is a very risky strategy from MBL. And unless Dogao... Oh, Dogao's already quick walled that up. That's nice. And look at this micro. Very close, very close. That scout almost killing the scout of MBL, but MBL just debating him a little bit. Coming back, and now MBL is the one with the scouting information. Not too bad, as Dogao is going to be making scouts of his own. He knows these militia don't stand any threat, so they're going to go straight to the base of MBL, who's doing this very greedy build. So with the gold like this, you'd almost never want to do some sort of strategy like this. However, MBL's had a successful Dark Age rush. And he's going to have that extra 100 food, 100 gold to get up to the next stage. And it looks like he will have the resources for a fast castle. The question is, how much damage does he take? He'll need to build a spearman right away to help defend. And this wood line is not looking very good. It's a single lumber camp on top of the hill. Alright, so there's the archery range. Not in an ideal position. Ideal position might be along this cliff. That's hardly important right now. And there's that spearman. Resources are looking good for this Ethiopian fast castle. What is Dogao's plan going to be? Dogao's going to send some villagers forward. And is probably going to try to tower this gold. And in fact, it's an archery range blacksmith. The Dogao is adding an archery range back at home. Let's check Dogao's resources. What are they looking like? They're not too good. They're not too good at all. And it still might be worth it to upgrade to those men-at-arms. It's quite a bit of food, but with these villagers coming forward, that might be the game for MBL. And I was told this game was good. Maybe I was lied to. Maybe MBL is just going to get a successful fast castle and is going to close out this game. Alright, here comes Dogao. Hasn't been seen quite yet. Now, this is where a Ethiopian outpost would be very useful. Ethiopians get +3 line of sight. No, I think it's +3 line of sight on their towers only. Why it's not that outpost, also, I have no clue. So here's a great tower from Dogao. Going to take away the only wood line of MBL. And might even attack some of these gold miners, but not all of them. And so far, I haven't seen... There's maybe a few archers in this archery range for MBL. 4 archers. So there's that tower. No fletching yet to attack the whole wood line. But this is a huge disruption to MBL's economy. He's going to have to rebuild another lumber camp. But so far, no critical damage done. In fact, MBL is actually going to go forward. And they could actually get caught out by these scouts and skirmishers. Here we go. Crossbow, bodkin arrow coming in. MBL's getting bodkin arrow before Dogao's even getting fletching. And these crossbows can do a lot of damage. What Dogao should have, he should have the armor on his skirmishers. That'll help them to at least not die in one shot to the crossbows. Dogao has a lot of farms, so he could be up to the next stage shortly, but he's going to go for the counterattack. Going to kill at least a few villagers. These militias still can do some damage against these skirmishers. Looks like one villager went down. I don't know if that was a successful attack. MBL has a lot of idle time on these gold miners. A couple of weak villagers. But this damage isn't too bad. Again, if if Dogao had that extra armor on his skirmishers, would have been able to do more damage. Now MBL doing damage to Dogao. Dogao forced to go over to the right side of his base. He doesn't have any more room to run. I mean, he could build some walls there. Let's see what these skirmishers can do. Again, they need that armor. But this might be enough for Dogao. MBL running away, going to get kind of caught up on that cliff, allowing the skirmishers to catch up and pick off a few crossbows. So Dogao doing a relatively good defense, also doing some damage, keeping this game close. And now finally Dogao mining his own gold. I think he doesn't have enough stone for a tower. Remember, he placed an offensive tower earlier, so this is a very risky position for Dogao. So Dogao's going to try to get the gold to get up to the next stage. Going to research wheelbarrow, which MBL still doesn't have. And Dogao's done a great job so far. He's found the army twice. Picked off the army twice of MBL. But with so many skirmishers, this is leaving Dogao open to either a siege or a knight transition. MBL's playing as the Ethiopian, so he'll opt for siege, because his knights are not too strong. And MBL should take an economy advantage at some point. Not quite right now, as the villager discrepancy is pretty huge. Remember, Dogao, again, just researched wheelbarrow. So this build has been very hard on MBL's economy, especially with that raid and that tower. And here comes the skirmishers. Are we actually going to see some raiding with skirmishers? I am not so sure, because we have a mangonel coming in from behind. Villagers are going to try to trap these skirmishers, and skirmishers do not fare very well against mangonels. Let's see what happens to these guys. Now that would